Hi everyone, I'm Cody and let's start coding. In today's video, we'll take a look at the Pandas library within Python. So I recently started with my Python journey and I've came across the Pandas library. It seems like an amazing library to learn more about. So this is exactly what this video is all about. So this is going to be my first steps and first look into the Pandas library, and we'll see where it comes from, what makes up the Pandas library. And then as we continue this journey, I really like to add more to this series of learning Pandas. So yeah, please keep an eye out for all the videos to come on Python. If you are also still new to this environment, being Python or Pandas, please subscribe for more videos to come and learn on this journey together with me, and give any feedback together with this whole journey. So as we get started, we can take a look at Pandas' mission and vision that the team has set out. So if we take a look at the mission, Pandas aims to be the fundamental high-level building block for doing practical real-world data analysis in Python. So as I've mentioned, Pandas is specifically designed for data analysis, and to see that their mission also incorporates this real-world data analysis and the practical application thereof is wonderful to see, and I can't wait to learn so much more around this library. Then if we move over to their vision, it's for Pandas to be accessible, free, flexible, powerful, easy to use, and fast. And I think of all the things that I've seen and what I've read, this definitely ties so wonderful into the whole idea and everything that they've put together in this package. So yeah, let's take a look at the timeline where all of this started and where we are now. So the development of Pandas started in 2008. This whole development started. In 2009, it became open source, being accessible for everyone to start to use it. And then in 2012, the first edition of Python for data analysis is published. So that's wonderful to see that the growth was there. And then in 2015, Pandas becomes a non-focus sponsored project. And then in 2018, first in-person core developer sprint. So we can see with this timeline where it came from in 2008. And then I think now in 2021, there's so much more that's possible with this package. So I thought this timeline was a good reference as to the whole journey that this package is on and still is on at the moment, but just to get some of that background before we get into the detail. Next, we can take a look at the data structures. So Pandas has two main data structures, the one being series and the other being data frames. And we'll take a more in-depth look at this as we continue this journey. But I think for this point in time, or where we are at in our learning journey, it's just important to note that there's two very fundamental different types of data structures that are usable or that you can use within this whole package. So important, especially for the next few videos to come. So please remember the two data structures, that being of series and data frames. Alright, so now we can take a look at some of the Pandas basics, and I included this flow that you can see here on the right hand side. First, we can start at object creation. So you can create objects. If you are familiar with other Python packages or just Python in general, you know that it's a object orientated programming language. So wonderful to see that in Pandas you can also use the object creation. Then for viewing data, so there's different functions that you can refer to view certain sections of your data. Then selection, to select certain rows or certain fields to be included in the rest of your data frame. Then missing data, to identify whether there are any missing data, or to start to think around how you can place some information in your missing data cells. Then operations, to do all types of different operations with your data. Then to merge certain data frames or data sets together, either by unioning them or by merging them together. Then we can move over to grouping, or otherwise known as pivoting your data, getting information based on a certain group within a field. Also very powerful. Then reshaping, that is taking your fields and adding them to, or shifting them to being your rows, and then vice versa as well. Very powerful if you want to change the shape of your table. Then time series, working with dates or time, very powerful. Then categoricals and plotting, making sure that you can plot out your data in a graph, for example. And this is where some of the other libraries or packages also comes in very handy. For example, matplotlib, pyplot, and we'll get into those as we continue on with this journey. Then a very important point, getting data in and out of your Python script, to read data from an external source. And then finally, after you've worked with your data, doing various tasks, how to write that data frame out to an external file. And then finally, gotchas. So this is the Pandas Basics. We'll get into a lot more detail into each of these categories as we continue our learning journey. But at this point in time, I think it's just important to get the grasp of all the different parts that makes up this very powerful Pandas package. So yeah, all the basics that you can see here. Now, where do we start? How do we kick off our learning journey in terms of Pandas? So I started my journey by going to pandas.pydata.org. So this is the website where I got all the information that enabled me to prepare this slides, and to give me that initial understanding of what Pandas are. And I am sure that I'll reference back to this website as I continue with my learning journey. There's so much information there, all the fundamental information on how to use the different aspects of Pandas. So yeah, please refer to that website. I'll also link it in the description down below. So please click there and visit this website if you also want to start or learn more of Pandas and how to use Pandas in your Python journey. Then if we take a look at Python itself, so the first step, as always, when you're working with a new package, is to install Pandas. So you can go to your command prompt and then type in pip install pandas, and that should install the Pandas library. So if you have any troubles with this, there's multiple videos already on YouTube that you can refer to install Pandas as a library. Then within your Python file itself, you can import the Pandas library by using import pandas, and then the general use is to include as PD. So whenever you work with Pandas, you can use import pandas as PD, and then throughout your file you can reference PD to use the functions and methods available from the Pandas library. So yeah, that's basically a very short introduction as to what is Pandas and how I understand Pandas. Please reach out to me with any feedback, any advice, any tips as to how I should approach this learning journey. And also, if you've seen anything that's incorrect, please let me know. I'd like to address and change that. But other than that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as this is the very first video in a whole series that is to come in my learning journey of Pandas. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and remember, one line of code at a time. Goodbye.